Welcome to Catfish Weekly, presented by Excel Boats, along with the Dr. Lyle Stokes, Tim Lang. I'm Lyle Stokes, and welcome to the show. Doc, it is a hot and humid day in Southwest Missouri.
Where's the feedback coming from?
I'm looking.
Is it you?
I can't find it. But there it is. They changed this on here where I cannot shut it off before the show starts. It used to be you shut it off before you ever started up, but it's not like that now. But like I was saying, it is extremely hot and humid in Southwest Missouri. I woke up in the middle of the night last night. It was storming, lightning, thundered. It rained all night, and up to 10 o'clock this morning, I finally had to take the dog out, and we done it in the rain. So it is what it is.
It's looking good here in Ohio. I'm looking out the door. It's clouding up, so the rain must be coming. I haven't looked at the weather to see what it's going to do, but today was nice. It was a little windy. It was mid-80s, so my grass is crunchy. So just walk across, and, man, you can just hear it snapping.
Now, we don't have that problem here. We're still about every 3 to 4 days we are mowing the grass, maybe 5 if you're lucky. But I think since spring was here, since it started mowing the grass this spring, I think I've had 1 week that I didn't mow the grass twice a week. So I'm not sure the rain's ever going to stop. I'm really happy about it, but Mother Nature's going to win. We got a crowd in there with Lindsay tonight. Doc, how was your trip to Alabama?
I had a great time. We had to fish mainly at night.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, hot as it was.
Yeah, well, the fish, we just couldn't get the fish to eat anything during the day. At night, they came alive, that's for sure.
Jerry Dillard, we're really glad that you liked the new background that was sent to us by Mississippi River Monsters, and we put it up as soon as it got here. And this is the first show that it's been on. We really like it. It should be a great time. So we're going to enjoy that until we go. So anything else we need to go over, Doc?
I'm just looking at some of the. Yes, I did get a meet Corey Ramsey over here last week. Good dude, real good. So just looking forward to coming back for the next one.
All right. What do you say we get Lindsay in here and talk about ladies in the catfish industry, Doc?
All right, let's do it.
Welcome, Lindsay, to Catfish Weekly.
Hi, guys.
You know, a few weeks ago, you made a comment in the chat during one of our shows that you thought that it would be a good idea to have some of the women, like we do with the kids, be part of our show. And I thought that that was a great idea, and I messaged you about it and mentioned that during the show. And I think that you might have thought I was feeding you a line or something, but it was a great idea. And when someone comes up with a great idea, you should let them know by having them be the first one. So here you are tonight.
That's about how that works, I think. This is certainly had some other ladies in mind for you, but I'm happy to be the first one to represent this side of the catfishing industry and kind of help get the ball rolling with this. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I'm so glad that you would do it. There's a lot of men that won't come on a show with Doc and I don't think it's because of Doc and I. They just don't want to be on camera. And some of the kids don't want to. And some of the ladies don't want to, but it's all fun. And I was telling Doc just a minute ago when you first come on that when we send out a little paperwork for people to fill out so we know what to talk about. And of course, I still forget it, and that's when the guest has to step up and say, "Hey, I told you about this and this," and then we bring it up. But you had mentioned a couple of things, and I thought they was great ideas, but everybody doesn't want to do it, and a lot of people don't have internet connections that allows them to do shows. But you know, I visited with several people that's really knowledgeable, and Glenn with Red Wrap being one of them. He stays up to speed on so much stuff, and when this new 5G system comes out for the phones, it's going to change the way internet stuff is done. And if people that want to do it at that time pretty much will be able to do it because it's going to be so efficient and so much better, but it's going to take a few years to get all of that stuff in there. So, but, you know, like I say, some people just don't want to do it, and we understand that. It's a lot of fun for us to have you guys on here, and we really enjoy it. And I think the majority of the people that watches the show enjoy seeing women and kids along with the men. And the women thing is something that's fairly new, and it's really taken off.
I agree with you. I think this is just one of those deals that it's more of a family sport now than I think it ever used to be, just to go fishing. And now we have such an array of tournaments to be able to get involved in and have it be something that, you know, families get to do together on a fairly routine basis. So women really get an opportunity to step out more and enjoy doing this with their husbands, with their partners, with other gals in the industry. And it's awesome. And it's so much fun.
Well, there's some of the ladies that's been in this industry for a long time. Lynn Lang, Janet Fox, Vicky Mathena, Cindy. There's a multitude of ladies that's been doing it for a long time. And I think a lot of the younger ladies would step back and say, well, you know what? If them gals can do it, so can we. And the ladies that has supported the sport for a number of years, they become the one that everybody looks up to. And now we've got a bunch of women that not only fish with their husbands, they fish with other women. And when we get to Alabama, and there's 3 or 4, 5, 6, how many ever there is, of all women teams that can launch the boat and load it back up and fish by themselves and do everything from catching the bait to putting the fish on the table at the weigh-in. Great deal of respect. Hey, bring him up there and let's see what he looks like.
Are you going to come say hi? Or are you going to pout? Yeah, we're going to pout for now. He might come back later.
The pouting's my deal.
Oh, well, you want to trade in places?
Oh, man. We love the kids. The kids are the future of our sport. And at this particular time, one of the things, and I've got feelers out for, I've visited with a couple of young girls. We do the youngsters once a month. I'm working trying to get a couple of the young ladies. There's not very many young ladies that actually fish hard, but there is some. And we're going to try to get some of the young girls on there. It's a 12 to 15-year-old girl. You know, the first thing that comes to mind is Hannah Ishcomer. She's amazing in a boat. I've been in a boat with her and her family, and she does a really good job. But there is a limited amount of younger girls that do it. But now the ladies, the true ladies of the sport, there's every year it seems like we're gaining numbers and numbers.
I think so too. And, you know, I've read some articles just stating that women are really the fastest growing demographic in the fishing industry. Increased participation with that is also helping inspire the sport to grow. And it's a big deal. You know, this is a huge issue from an economic perspective, because what that does is it allows a lot of these companies to continue to grow over time. Right. And you know, these kids are the future. And when the more families that you get involved and the more kids that you get involved and the more women that you get involved, and no offense to the guys, but that's the absolute truth. It just helps with a humongous growth within the industry, the more that everybody gets involved in it.
Dieter Melhorn wants to know if you can pick up that banjo behind you and play it.
You know, if my husband was here, he absolutely would. But Lyle, he's one of those guys that just doesn't like to be on camera.
But do you play it?
No, sir, I sure do not.
Me either.
That is an Austin Knight specialty, and he's getting pretty good at it. He can play quite an array of different tunes on that thing. Anything from, you know, the good old dueling banjos all the way to Metallica. He's got all kinds of skills on that, and he doesn't like to play in front of people. But one of these days, I'll video that and share it with you.
Good. That'd be good. Dieter also wants to know what that deer scores back there.
Oh, well, that's one of many. I tried not to get all of the taxidermy in the background, but I will say this: we've got more than this laptop webcam will show, and our house is definitely growing thin on wall space for the amount of taxidermy that's going on here.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, we're my husband's much more avid in the outdoor industry as far as the hunting is concerned, but the fishing is something we enjoy together.
Right.
So, are you ready to come say hi now?
I can't find fish.
I'll help you in a little bit, okay? You want to come say hi? No? Okay. He's still thinking about it. He was pretty excited before.
Yep, that's okay. Not a problem. Any questions that we've missed, Doc? I haven't been really keeping up with it too much.
It's they're just everybody's kind of talking to each other.
Okay. I did see Dieter's. For some reason, Dieter's name always pokes out. I see him when I might not see other people's stuff, but, it's Dieter Melhorn. Lindsay, how many tournaments a year do you personally fish?
Well, since you asked, we really, I should say as a couple, have only fished a few. And I'd like to get more into that, but it's more of a, will he give up his fishing partner to let me fish some of those other tournaments with him? Ryan Carver is his partner, and they do a great job together and really enjoy fishing together. So we don't really fish just one particular series, but we will fish where we like to go and places we like to fish at, and with the ones that are put on by the really good tournament directors that are family friendly. And so we've All-American Catfish and Catfish Chasers and the Alex Nagy's tournament as well. So we've got some of those that we fish, but I would say probably 3 or 4 years what we do together.
That's awesome. Now, Catfish Chasers, if I'm correct, next weekend has a big tournament coming up.
Not next weekend. It'll be the weekend after that. It should be, I believe, August the 10th is what that is, if I'm right. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me on that. I'm not fishing it. But my Austin and Ryan will be fishing that together up here. That's up here in St. Joe. So right here on the river, it's just minutes from where we live. It'll be pretty exciting. I think that's going to be a pretty big turnout for them. And they've got a lot of people that are coming. Now, are you going to say hi? No?
Nope.
Okay.
And you have a chance of winning a new Chevrolet pickup.
Hey, you do. And, Randy Reed's where my husband bought his pickup at. They give free oil changes with everything that you buy for life. So if you win a free truck, I think you get free oil changes for life on that deal.
That's a big saving. And there's always a chance of that happening on the Missouri River. I mean, there's some great fishing up there.
There are.
Yep, it really is. Lindsay, we need to give some stuff away. How about if you pick me out a number between 1 and 5, and since Cindy is babysitting my grandkids, I'll have to spin the prize wheel myself.
You want to tell them number 3? How about number 3?
Number 3. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. And the winner, Stephen Hare. Let me see what I can spin for Stephen.
I think I saw him in chat.
Yep. Chubby Fish Outdoors. Stephen, if you will contact the folks at Chubby Fish Outdoors on Facebook and tell them that you was a prize winner on Catfish Weekly spinning the rig wrap prize wheel, they will hook you up with some great products out of their online store. I want to thank Chubby Fish Outdoors for being a part of our show and supporting the Rig Wrap Prize Wheel. And Stephen, thank you so much for watching Catfish Weekly. I personally know that you watch it a lot, and that means so much to Doc and I and Cindy that you'll be on there. So just give them a buzz or send them a message.
And Chubby Fish is a company that just started like last year.
Yeah.
Brian Lynn and David O are the owners. And
they haven't been in business too long, but I see them online and doing deals and stuff all the time. So looks like they have a bright future.
Glad to have them on the wheel.
Absolutely. Yep. They sure do. So, Lindsay, I know that you've got some upcoming stuff that you'd like to talk about. Thank you, Joseph Stewart. We appreciate it. Come on up. The Missouri River is coming down and it's starting to be fishable. And I know you'd have a great time if you'd ever get a chance to make it up here.
Oh, you bet.
Tell us about some of the upcoming stuff that you was wanting to visit with us about.
Oh, you bet. So we got a couple tournaments that are ones that we're going to fish and are, kind of near and dear to us. The first one, I guess, and the closest one is going to be the Border Wars tournament. That is down in Warsaw, Missouri, at the Sterrett Creek Arena on Truman Lake. So it'll be on the Truman Lake side, not the Lake of the Ozarks side. Tim Berger is our director for that one. That's an All-American Catfish Tournaments event. That is going to be the 27th, 8th, and 9th of September. Friday, that 29th, they're doing a Calcutta auction. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That's a 2-day tournament, daytime, 7 a to 4 p. I think they've got $3,500 added money to that tournament. That's a big chunk of change. And they've got a lot of folks signed up for that. And from what I understand right now, Warsaw's pretty hot. Everybody is really doing great down there. And I think they saw that last weekend with that Angels Benefit Tournament.
Yeah, it's been on fire in that area here recently.
You bet. So, registration's open online for that one. We're all going as a family down there. Austin and Ryan are going to fish that one together, but we're going to go and help out and be a part of that as a family. And so that's pretty exciting. I know they've got all those events up on the website, on the Facebook page, and you can go register anytime. So love to see a lot of people come to that event. A lot of people, we haven't done a lot of the Truman Lake stuff, so that ought to be a lot of fun for everyone.
It will, and that's All-American Catfish. Just go on there and send Tim or Uzi a message if you want information on that tournament. They're great folks, run a great tournament. And Truman Lake is one of the areas in southwest Missouri it's not that it's not fish, but there's very few catfish tournaments on it because it's just small towns around it. There's not really a bunch of big towns around it, but Warsaw is one of the bigger areas, and it'll be a lot of fun. And they've been knocking the crap out of fish down there. They've really been catching tons of fish.
Oh, yeah. And it's been fun to watch them do that. I know when Austin and Ryan went down and fished it here a few weeks ago, they came back just with bruises all over because they couldn't stop catching fish. And they were just reeling the whole time they were out there. So that was nice to see. I know there's a lot of times people get skunked out and they don't get that opportunity. But when they're biting, and that was fun for them. They had a blast. Yeah,
there is some good fish in Truman. That is the first dam is what makes up Truman Lake, is right on the Osage River, which drains right into the Missouri. So it's Truman and Lake Ozark, and then it goes back to the Osage River, which goes into the Missouri River. There's great fishing on Truman Lake.
Mm-hmm.
James Dockery says if she could fish with anyone she wants to that she has not fished with, who would that be?
Oh, man. You're going to put me on the spot, aren't you? Well, I don't know if he's listening tonight or not, but I'd have to probably say Stacy Gaston.
That'd be a good one to pick. Yeah, Stacy would be a lot of fun. Doc actually knows how much fun Stacy is.
Oh, yeah.
We have
so much fun. Him and Joey Kirby together. Oh, my goodness.
Really?
Just thinking about it, it just still makes my stomach hurt. I've never laughed so much all my life.
Stacy's a great guy, and that would be a fun time in the boat with Stacy. And it would really be special if you get to fish with his wife, Dawn. I don't know. She's a very nice lady. I've met her a couple of times. Think the world of Stacy and Dawn, and they're great folks. And Stacy's a good fisherman, too.
Yeah.
Lisa Adkins, go fish with your husband.
Yeah. I love to fish with him. He was our driver for the chick fight tournament this year, and he's taught me a lot about fishing. That's really been a big deal, is to have him teach me the majority of what I've learned for the catfishing. And he got to be our driver for the 2019 chick fight tournament, and I swear that was the biggest test of patience for him that has ever been. So, now that he knows that we can halfway do it on our own, I think he's maybe be a little bit more patient in the boat with us, but we have a blast together when we go. So
awesome.
but yeah, I could take him anytime. That's no problem. we had the honor of meeting Stacy when we went to Winter Blues this year down on Wheeler, and it was just, he's so inspirational and so much fun and extremely motivating for folks. And just to spend a whole day, I think you'd probably be on cloud 9 for the whole year after you're done with that ride.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yep.
Is there any other questions that we've missed in there, Doc?
No, I'm trying to keep up with that, and then I've got so many messages coming in because of this. So I got to get rid of this phone for a while.
Daniel would like to know if you're going to the Texoma tournament, Lindsay.
I am not.
Okay.
Not going to that one, but we've talked about doing that in the future.
That's going to be a great tournament. It's going to be a big tournament.
Yep.
PK
I've heard
is
really great things about Fish in Texas, and Lyle, I know you and I visited a little bit about that with regard to that just being a really good area, a lot of fun, great fishing, great people within those tournament series as well.
Absolutely.
So definitely on the bucket list.
Yep. We had a great visit the other night when we was testing your system out up there, and we talked about Texoma and PK and Mississippi River monsters and monsters on the Ohio, and I think we talked a little bit about the Captain Mad Jack's tournament. I believe, Doc, isn't that coming up this weekend?
Yes, this weekend is the Captain Mad Jack's on Taylorsville Lake in Kentucky.
So that's
an all-night tournament.
Steve Douglas is got that going on. So if you guys are down in the area, be sure to stop in and show Steve some love and fish that tournament. I'm drawing a blank, Doc. I know the guy that won it from last year, and I can't think of his name. Oh, man.
It wasn't Willie, was it?
Nope. But Willie's in it this year. I was looking to see who was in it. I would have really liked to have went to that tournament. It's just, with Cindy being gone for 3 or 4 days, by the time we get everything lined up, get down there, we wouldn't have no time to pre-fish on a strange lake like that. You need to spend some time down there. But we looked at it last year. This year, I kind of thought we'd make it, but just couldn't get it worked out. But man, it just blows my mind that I can't think of his name. I picture him in my mind, but I can't.
It'll pop up.
Yeah.
Lindsay, Janet Fox wants to know, what is your personal best fish?
Oh, personal best was a 24-pound blue cat at Chick Fight 2019 on Lake Wheeler.
Nice.
And they want to know, Loud Doc, Lindsay, any thoughts in the changing tournaments from weight to inches instead?
That'll never happen.
I don't think so.
And I'll tell you why it'll never happen. There's a formula that you can put together by measuring the girth and the length of a fish, and it'll tell you what they weigh. The bigger fish that you catch, the further off that formula is. So anything over about 15 or 20 pounds, the weights start becoming way higher than the fish actually weighs. And I don't care whether you're fishing north, south, east, west. If you're out on the ocean, the only true measurement you can get on a fish to know how big it is to put it on a set of digital scales and call it a day. That formula it never pans out at all. So, it's you gotta weigh them. That's the only accurate way to doing that.
Yeah, it's raining here now, Lyle.
I don't feel so bad. But you need the rain, and I do not. Did we lose Cindy or Lindsay? I see. Oh, here she comes. She's trying to get back in. She might be getting some weather up there. Yeah, you're right, Jerry. That's the only way to do it. It really is. 1 or 2 fish limit. It has to be 3, Dieter. Anybody can trip on 1 fish. People can trip on 2 fish, but to trip on 3 great fish is nearly impossible. It has to be a 3 fish limit. Whether there's restriction on overs or unders, it doesn't matter. But if you get a great under and 2 overs, that's the people who are supposed to win. 2 fish limits will never work across the nation. They might work in some areas, but it'll never work across the nation, because you go to these places like the Mississippi River and James River and Wheeler Lake, and a guy could trip on 2 good fish, but he ain't going to trip on 3. It's just not going to happen. And it's not about tripping on a good fish to win a tournament. It happens once in a while, but it's about your ability to catch the biggest fish in whatever area you're fishing.
Where'd she go? We lose her?
Nope.
I'm here.
She's here.
Oh, okay.
She was gone for a minute, but she's back.
Yeah. I don't know. This thing's kind of funky.
Well, that's part of electronics, but, that's just the way it works.
This is true.
It is. All right. One of the things that I wanted to mention, and I lost my paper here now. I'll have to find it. What did I do with that?
I missed a question. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it. James Dockery wants to know, Lindsay, what is your favorite body of water to fish? And what would be one place that she wants to fish that she has not?
Good question.
Oh, that is a tough one. Honestly, we really enjoyed Wheeler. That was a lot of fun for us, and maybe that place comes a little redundant for some people, but it really is a neat place to go, and there's so many different areas that you can get to fish that in a decent amount of time. That's probably been the best for us, but there's a lot of places I haven't fished. And for catfishing wise, I would love to go to Texas. I think that would be an absolute blast, and everybody talks about, going to Texoma, doing that. I think it would be an absolute blast. It seems like that's a whole different world down there, maybe, than what we're used to up here in Missouri. And, we fish a lot of the rivers around here, so some of those bigger lake tournaments, I think, would be a blast.
I agree. And Texoma is a huge lake.
Mm-hmm.
Most people think that Wheeler Lake is big. Wheeler Lake's not that big. Compared to Lake the Ozark, it's just a dimple. Really. Lake Ozark's a big lake, but Texoma is huge. In fact, I can't think of another lake, and there probably is some, but I can't think of a lake that's bigger than Texoma. And I know there is some. I just can't think of any right now. And it's got 2 big, massive arms on it, so you could spend days searching out each one of those, and maybe you'll find them, maybe you won't, because the time you got through Texoma, they'd probably done moved.
Yeah, that's probably really true. And we mostly river fish up here. We've got the Missouri and we've got the Kaw River. And so there's not just a ton of really good sized lakes around here for us to do a lot of catfishing. So we've got to go elsewhere in order to be successful at that. And
well, at least you're not far from Truman and Lake Ozark.
Well, that's true. We're not. I mean, Truman's probably 3 hours from us, and Lake Ozark's about 4, so it's really not that bad. Get a day, and it's a good weekend getaway to go do that. We've got friends and family that live around that area too, so that's nice.
All American Catfish says, where would you like to see more tournaments at?
Oh, well, we pushed and pushed for the Truman stuff because we really wanted to go there. I think it'd be fun to have one on Lake of the Ozarks. I think that'd be a good one to be on that side of it and try that out. I know a lot of that's recreational, but I think there's some good areas for the catfishing down there as well.
If you stay from the 60 or 70 mile marker down, it's not nearly as bad. You get on the big end of the lake, it gets pretty tough in the summertime. But if you stay on the bottom end of it, on the little end of the lake, it's not that bad. There's a lot more fishermen down there than there is party barges and boats and stuff like that.
You bet.
So that's what we need to do. I think we need to give some more stuff away, Doc.
Yep, it's that time.
Lindsay, pick me out another number between 1 and 5.
Let's do number 2 this time.
2 it is. And the winner is Adam Isaacs. Sorry, guys. Cindy's not here, so I'm writing all this stuff down so I don't forget it. You never realize how important somebody is until they're not there.
Yeah.
I can tell you that for a fact.
Yes, sir. Hooker's Terminal Tackle. Adam, if you will contact James Arwood at Hooker's Terminal Tackle and tell him you want some Mad Catters on Catfish Weekly's Rig Wrap Prize Wheel game, he will send them right out to you. James has been a great sponsor to our show for a long, long time. We appreciate everything he does, not just for us, but for the entire sport of catfishing. And Adam, thank you so much for watching Catfish Weekly. We appreciate it so much. And thank you for joining in the show tonight. All right.
Catfish Bill wants to know, what's your personal best flathead?
You want to know the truth on that? I've never caught a flatty before.
You've never caught a flathead before?
Not yet, but it's coming one of these days.
Absolutely. The Missouri River's full of them.
And you'd think by now that would have happened, but they sometimes they're harder than you think.
Yeah. That is for sure. Sometimes they'll elude you. We talked about this, Doc, a long time ago. I went nearly my whole life, and I thought catching flathead catfish on cut bait was a myth. It wasn't until about 5 or 10 years ago, we was in a tournament on the Illinois River, and I caught 7 in one night on cut bait. And up till then, the only flathead I'd ever caught, and I'd caught some giants, was on live bait. I thought that everybody was just talking that, and it was a big joke. And now every once in a while, we'll catch one on cut bait. But in this area, you'll catch a lot more flathead on live bait than you ever will cut bait.
Yeah, my area down here, we catch a lot on cut bait.
Yep. I've seen guys talk about that and seen them on shows and stuff. But over here, you can catch them on cut bait, but you don't catch them nearly as much as you will on live bait. And it don't matter if they're this big or that big. Bluegill, bullhead, sunfish, they'll take them. And it's a little bitty flathead can take a huge piece of bait. They really would do. It's just amazing. And I love to catch them things. They're probably the best eaten of all catfish. And if it's over about 3 or 4 pounds, I can't do it. I always put them back. Of course, I don't like to clean them anyhow. I just soon stop at the restaurant on the way home and have fish as I would to clean one. But we do keep one once in a while, but we rarely, unless it's deep hook, we won't keep anything over 2 or 3 pounds.
Right.
Channel cat works in perfectly for that.
Yeah.
But I do not like to clean them.
Size Matters Outdoors says flatheads on live bait is always a blast. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yep. They sure are. I'm the first one you ever heard say that. That's just the way it is in this area. It's different in every area you go, but I can promise you, if you go up here, Lake Ozark, Missouri River, Truman, you won't catch near as many on cut bait as you do live bluegills and bullheads. And I think, Doc, the reason I think flatheads just hate bullhead, and I'm not sure how much of them they eat. I know they eat them, but I think they just kill them because they despise them so bad. But yeah, they
tried to use them here, but I could never get them to do anything. You know,
really?
They kind of sit on the bottom and they don't do anything. And I mean, they're lively when I put them on. Maybe got to get them suspended up off of the bottom.
Yeah, a lot of guys. I know Luke Hinges, he suspends his on cat bobbers and stuff. And I've watched him, and they'll dance around with that bobber. And the tip of his rod really gets to going about the time that flathead's getting ready to take one of them. But they're not allowed to use bluegill up north because they're considered game fish, and you can't use them. So that's just amazing.
Yeah, I know me and the grandkids this weekend are going to fish a tournament up at Indian Lake, Ohio. We've done it for the last, 5-6 years. And it was a channel cat tournament. Now it's it's a flathead tournament.
That's awesome. I know you guys have a blast doing that.
Yeah. So the kids all want to go night fishing, and Grandpa doesn't like doing night fishing unless I'm with somebody like I was this past weekend.
Right.
With Willie and Stacy. That's a little bit different, but nope, not me. It's bad enough on there because people don't like to run lights and stuff like that. And I've had a couple close calls on that lake. So
Yeah. Yep, I understand. I used to love to fish nights, but I don't fish nights nearly as much as we used to, and I nearly won't fish a tournament in strange water at night anymore.
yeah.
I just don't have the desire for it.
We don't mind the night fishing. It's in fact, our son does really good with the night fishing stuff. As long as we've got that thermocell on board, I think we do pretty good.
Gotta have one, don't you?
Oh
Yeah.
man, we'd be eaten alive if we weren't. But I agree, if it's unknown waters, it's just not safe to do that at night. You never really know what you're getting into if you don't have.
When
If
I
you
was
don't
a lot
have your
younger,
guide.
it didn't bother me at all. I would rather fish at night because it's cooler and the fish seem to bite a little. Maybe I don't know if they bite any better or not, but it's cooler and more comfortable, so I think they bite better. But
Yeah.
when it's on strange water and especially rivers and stuff, lakes are not so bad, but rivers and things, you will really got to be more careful. And I'm like Doc, if I had somebody, Willie's quite a bit younger than we are, and somebody like that is a great asset to you at a night deal fishing at night, and that's not so bad. But I just
Yeah, the only other drawback was the one night on Wheeler we went out, and it was probably we got out on the water about 7 o'clock, and then we would fish for bait for about an hour, and then we start setting up. And it doesn't get dark there until like 9:30, and but the bugs were just these little tiny bugs. I mean, and I'm not exaggerating. There was millions of them things, and
Yeah.
they're crawling up on your face. They're getting up on your glasses, and when the wind was blowing, it wasn't near as bad. But that one night, it was just. I was afraid I was going to sneeze and suck down about a couple hundred of them things. I was in panic mode the whole time. So,
I hear you on that deal. That would be the worst.
yeah.
It's not bad if you're moving, but when you're stagnant and there's nothing to keep them off of you, that's the worst part.
If there's a little wind blowing, it helps that a lot.
Yeah, it pushes them out. They don't. And I don't know. We moved away from the dam. We were, where the power lines run across. We were just below those power lines on below Wheeler Dam, and we ended up moving a couple, I don't know, half a mile down river just to get away from the bugs. And so I don't know if they're sitting there camping out on the dam or what they're doing, but
Is that the one got the big lights on it, like the ones on the Mississippi at night?
the what? Oh yeah. There's a lot of lights. It's all lit up across there.
There you go.
Yeah, so, but and then the other 2 nights, the other 3 nights that we fished, the wind was blowing. The one night we had to quit because it dropped clear down into 60 degrees, and we're in t-shirt and shorts, and we were both starting to shiver. And then Willie goes, "Man, I'm getting cold. Are you ready to go?" I said, "Yes, sir. I'm just waiting for you to say something." Wasn't going to be the one that said anything.
Yep.
I had the thermocell going, and it didn't seem to affect the bugs. So
No,
it must only work on skeeters.
that's right. Mosquitoes is all that thermocell will really work on. Some guys say it helps with flies and gnats. I've never noticed it doing anything to flies and gnats, but they will stop the mosquitoes from bothering you as long as you stay close to it. Sure will. That's one of my favorite things in the world, taking a boat, is a thermocell.
I'm telling you, they'll take care of it in a heartbeat.
They will. Lindsay, you have some announcements you need to make tonight.
Oh, I do. I think Melinda's probably ready for me to make this one. Chick Fight 2020. I'm really hoping that we have some ladies in here tonight, or maybe wives or girlfriends or daughters of guys that would like to see people get into it, because I am telling you, Chick Fight 2019 was an absolute blast for us. So if you have a lady in your life that wants to get involved, Chick Fight 2020 is going to be an absolute blast. We have still low entry fee of $100 for ladies to get involved. 3-person teams, a youth or a senior can be on part of that team. And then they've got I believe registration is going to open on October the 1st for us. So Melinda's kind of got that determined. Payout placement is going to be one placement per every 10 boats and $1,500 added to first place by Whisker Seeker. We've got a no man required prize. Now, there actually ended up being 2 of these, which is pretty awesome. One of them is a $5,000 payout for a no man required on the boat. And that's courtesy of PK Cat Masters on that one. So no man driver. So ladies, if you know how to drive a boat, if you can launch and load and you're ready to go and it's women only, you will be a part of that possibility. Second place for that is a $2,500 payout for second place by Whisker Seeker. So courtesy of them. And this, again, this is for teams that do not need a man as a driver. So if you're going to go out there and you're going to launch and you're going to load and you're going to drive that boat through the whole tournament with no man on board, you are potentially in the running for those super huge payouts.
But you still have to win the tournament.
Well, yes, of course.
Yeah.
But that's the goal anyway, right? You know, at least put some fish in the boat and, you know, see what you can do. And you never know what everybody else has got. But, you know, we've had tournaments where we've seen 20 pounders on there, and that's what won it. Everybody else got skunked out. So whether it's a 20-pound big fish or a 5-pound big fish or a 100-pound big fish, you never know. And, you know, part of that's just the camaraderie and the excitement of being on that team with other women and being able to get out there and do those things together.
Right.
So we're pretty excited about that. We're ready to go. We will be a no man required boat on our boat this year, and looking forward to that quite a bit. So we'll see what we can do.
You know, you and I was talking about that the other day. Cindy doesn't require me in the boat. Hasn't for a long time. She can do all of it by herself. She could fish by herself if she chose to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not nearly as much fun as fishing with somebody else, you know.
That's true. And it's, you know, and I hate to say the girly thing, but it's maybe not as much fun as fishing with somebody that you love. And you know, that's a big deal for us in our family too. I take the 2 most important people with me whenever we go fish, and that's my husband and my son. And
sure,
we absolutely love doing that together as a family. But there's a time and a place for the other partners to go as friends or ladies tournament type stuff, and to be able to do those, or just because you feel safer or something like that. That's always an opportunity.
And I do understand the people that are not comfortable about driving a boat or launching a boat and doing that stuff. I understand that. It's a safety factor. And if you're not comfortable with that, you're better off to have somebody run your boat for you. But there's a lot of women that doesn't realize how much driving of the boat they already do when you and your guy is going out to catching bait, or when you're loading and unloading. A lot of women are doing a lot of that now that they don't even realize it. And if they just would spend a little time this year getting ready for that, most of them don't need a guy anyhow. But it does take practice, and you should be practicing with somebody that's capable of explaining to you how to do on and off the trailer, and when to trim up and when to trim down, and don't take off with the boat trimmed all the way up. And, you know, like the bass guys do. They try to put on a show for everybody. Don't realize how ridiculous they look to start with.
Oh my, you're not even kidding. That's such a joke.
It is.
But it's, you know, a little bit of irritation, a little bit of funny.
It is. But,
I agree with you. And there's so much about the lady angling and I'm still learning a lot of it too. Learning how to back a trailer, if you don't know how to do that, and do it safely, especially in a crowded boat ramp and a crowded lot, that's a huge thing for women. And some gals can get in there and they can whip in and whip right back out, and they do a great job. But if that's something that you're wanting to learn, by golly, take the time and learn it, because that is a big help. If something happens to the driver, if somebody that even on the boat, driving the boat or running the trolling motor, those are huge safety issues too that women really need to learn. And I know it's super scary to learn it. Just do it with somebody that's patient.
Yeah, that's right.
So if your husband is not a patient man, find somebody that's willing to teach you to do that, and take the time to go over that. That is a huge, huge deal. If something ever happened, you know, how would you get back? Or if it,
right.
If it was
Everybody that's in a boat should at least know how to get you back in. They don't have to go fast, but you never know. Something could happen, and everybody should be able to drive that boat to get you back to the range.
You bet.
From the time the kids are old enough to drive a boat, they should be taught how to do it. And a lot of other people, it was a long time for Cindy to even drive the boat. But when you're getting bait, you got to have somebody drive that boat. You got to. And that's when she learned to do it. And the more she done it, the better at it she got. And now she can take me up in a lock if we're going up there after shad at some of the dams, and she'll take me right to the place I want to be, and then she'll back out of it. I'll throw the net, and we'll get our bait, and we're out of there. And that's exactly how it was. But from the time kids are old enough to learn how to drive a boat, you should be teaching them kids. So when they get to be old enough to fish the chick fight or any other tournament that they choose to fish on their own, they have the knowledge and the capability of doing it. It's just common sense.
Absolutely. It makes it safer for everybody on the water when you've got somebody that knows what they're doing versus somebody that's just trying to figure it out. And
that's right. That's right. Hey, Lindsay, before we go on with your other announcements, we need to give some stuff away. How about that?
You got it.
I'm ready. Another number.
How about what we do? We've done 4 and 2. How about number 5?
5 it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the winner is Brooklyn Campbell. Brooklyn Campbell. I think that's somebody new on the show, isn't it, Doc?
Yeah, sounds like it.
I don't remember that name, but I don't remember them all anyhow. BSM. Brooklyn, if you will contact me after the show, just send me a message on our Catfish Weekly Facebook page or message me at catfishweeklytv@gmail.com and send me an email with your shipping address. I have a nice prize that I think you're really going to like from our great sponsor, B&M. We thank them for everything they do for us, and they do a lot of stuff for a lot of other people too. So B&M is a great sponsor to the show. And thank you so much, Brooklyn, for watching Catfish Weekly and being a part of the Catfish Weekly Rig Wrap Prize Wheel game. All right, Lindsay, you can go right ahead with your announcements now.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm not sure. I think those are the only 2 tournaments, really, other than that Catfish Chasers tournament that we've got up here in a couple weeks. So we've got some great friends that run a bait shop. It's actually called The Bait Shop. So Andy and Sherry Crispin run that up here off North 169 Highway. They are really just up the road from us, and they're going to be your resource for bait if you're coming up for that tournament. They've got some black salties. They've got bullheads, all kinds of stuff that they're going to be having up there for bait and rods and reels. So if you get up here, anything happens, you need bait, can't find bait, need replacement stuff, they're just off the highway to be able to come and get those things. And they're great folks. So they'll be available for that tournament weekend. I know Tim Berger mentioned for All-American Catfish tournaments, we've had a lot of changes with the way that the weather's been with the flooding this year. So a lot of those tournaments have been rescheduled. And I know he said that as of today, everything that's on the All-American Catfish tournaments page on Facebook is up to date with the tournaments and the dates that are on there. So I know we've got a reschedule for what would have been the Macy's Fish and Finds sponsored tournament down at Lexington. That is now going to be at Paw Point on August 31st. That's a night event.
Sorry.
So that'll be the next one that we've got coming up. And there's several others on there. And I believe that the national championship tournament is going to be posted here soon, like within the next 24 hours or so, I think is what he's talking about, making an announcement with regard to that. I don't know any details. I promise I really don't. Tim's going to make that one. So, but I know it's coming.
Okay, great. I was trying to answer a message and knock my microphone over. Kaylee, I saw your post that you made me about that being your daughter, but when the microphone fell over, I've lost my chat, and I'll be trying to get that back up there and see if I can make that happen. But that'll be fine.
So the chick fight for next year is on April 25th, which just happens to be 2 days before my birthday. And the doctor is going to be your master of ceremonies at the chick fight.
That's awesome.
So
That is exciting.
Yeah. I'll be there, and again, somebody's going to be fishing the chick fight free because I'm going to pay somebody's way in honor of Lynn. So
that's so great of you to do, Doc. We really appreciate that. I know everybody does. Folks, for those of you that watch every week, Glenn at Rig Wrap donates a prize. When we get to 100 thumbs up, we got one to go.
We are at 100.
Okay, I'm only showing 99, so that's perfect.
You're behind.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
And winner is Jonathan Bevins.
Jonathan Bevins.
Bevins. Jonathan, get a hold of Glenn at Rig Wrap, and he's got something for you.
Yep. Be awesome. You're going to love it.
Doc, that's pretty exciting that you get to be our MC at the Chick Fight 2020.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Giving up, spending some birthday time down there with us and doing that again in honor of Lynn. That's awesome. Somebody would be really lucky to be blessed with that.
That was the greatest honor, I think, that Nikki and Hannah and Cindy had last year was the fact that they won that. I think that was more important to them to win that in Lynn's name than it was all the other stuff they got. That meant so much to all of them, and they had a great time down there. They done really good in the tournament, but the fact that you donated that and when Nikki won that, we was at the conference and she come running over there.
Yeah.
I don't believe I've ever seen anyone more excited than Nikki Ishcomer was down there that day. It was awesome.
Yeah, Lynn would have really loved fishing in that. So we just do it in her memory. So
and she would have been tough in it too, Doc.
Oh, yeah.
That was a competitive lady that loved to catch fish, and she caught some giants.
Yeah. Had a couple of state records and stuff like that. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty cool. She would have been tough. So, do I do any fishing anymore? Yes, I do. As soon as the water goes down where it's safe to go. I don't fish by myself anymore, Daniel. I used to fish a lot by myself. And my kids and Cindy get on me so bad they won't let me go by myself, which is okay because Cindy fishes and she likes to go, and I like it when she goes because she gets mad when I say that I like to watch her catch the fish, and I do because then it gives me time to do some video stuff. And we've got a lot of video stuff, but some of the problems is one or the other of us might say something we can't use, and a lot of the video that we shoot nothing ever gets done with it. She gets really excited, and I get really, really aggravated when things don't go right. So we
and I have witnessed all this firsthand. I can tell you that.
Isn't that what that edit button's for and the bleep button on your video?
Sometimes there's no content left.
We
do have
good and bad come off thing.
We have I have a complete day on the water with Jeff Dodd, and the audio is not like that, but the audio was not really good. We was using a shotgun mic, and some of it's hard to hear, and some of it's a little louder. And there wasn't a lot of fish caught, but a day on the water with Jeff Dodd, man, it was so much fun. And him and Cindy was catching fish, and I was running the camera, and I never enjoyed anything more than I did that day. And I'll get that edited out one day. We was in the Monster Cat, and Jeff come walking down the boat ramp, and he crawled in the boat. And I said, "Here you go, big boy. You know this stretch of river. I've never been on it." And he drove that boat all day, and I run the video camera, went through 3 or 4 batteries and a couple of cards in that Canon camera. And it was really awesome. And Jeff told some stories about the Massengill boys. Imagine that. And a lot of other people. And he was serious about a lot of stuff. But, of course, he was Jeff Dodd about a lot of stuff. And I'll get all that edited up one day, and it'll be a great a great show for people to watch.
The best line is, "You smell that?" What did he say? Massengill water?
Yeah, he turned around, he looked at me, he said, "You smell that?" I said, "What's that?" I was thinking something wrong with the boat, you know. He said, "That's Massengill water you're smelling now." I said, "We're going to go catch some of their fish." And I lost it, man. It was so funny. Jeff is such a he's a great ambassador for the sport, but he is so fun to be in a boat with. And you don't, to be right honest, Doc, you know this well as I do, you really don't have to be in a boat with him. If you're around him, you're going to have a good time.
I know. He's a hoot, that's for sure.
Sonny, we got to do that winter thing again. If we don't do anything else, we got to do that. We had a blast fishing that last year. That was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Patriot Catfishing of America would like to know, Lindsay, what are your rods and reels that you use?
Well, the ones that I most recently got were some gifts from my husband. They're custom meat hunter rods, and they are a special edition. I believe they were for the Mother's Day breast cancer deal, and he got me 3 of those last year for Christmas. So I really enjoyed that. And he picked out the reels that I've got, and I'm just going to be honest, I can't remember what the name of those ones are. But they were all 3 matching, so the poles and the reels match. And I know that's probably a super girl thing to say, but you know, we wanted to make sure all my stuff looked nice together for me. And he knew more about obviously the reels and the gear ratios and what you need with regard to that. And those were all things that I learned or am still learning quite a bit about with regard to, you know, what you need and what your preference is on those. So, but they're all baitcaster rods, and so far I haven't ended up with a rat's nest. So wherever the wood is, I need to knock on that.
I'm going to promise you one thing. If you use them long enough, you'll get a bird's nest at some point.
Yeah, well, luckily it hasn't happened yet, so I've been doing all right so far.
Oh, Cindy hasn't done but a couple of little small ones, but I've been doing it since I was a kid using bait casters, and baby, I'm telling you right now, I can knot one up like nobody's business.
Oh.
That's known as a professional overrun.
Well, I don't know about the professional part, but a lot of times I get them so bad, I just get the knife out after them. Yeah, that's pretty non-professional when they're that bad.
Yep.
Bye, Mom.
Hey, it's time to spin the wheel again.
Hey, Lindsay, you got another number picked out?
Let's go with number 1 this time.
Number 1, my favorite of all. And the winner is Katie Dockery.
All right.
All right. All right. Hey, I ain't spun this wheel this much in a long time, Doc.
I know.
Makes my arm sore. Dale's Tackle. Katie, if you'll contact Dale's Tackle, I know you're familiar with them guys because James buys a whole bunch of stuff from Dale's, which is awesome that he does. And if you will contact Dale and tell him you want a prize on Catfish Weekly spinning the rig wrap prize wheel game, he will fix you right up and ship you out a prize. And I know that James will help you pick out just what you need. Oh, man. Them two are such a lot of fun to have on the show. We had them on last week, and they was an absolute blast. Great folks, do some wonderful projects for young kids and stuff in the sport. And it is a privilege to know those two. They're awesome people. I'm glad she won. All right. What else we got tonight, Lindsay?
Well, I would say, you know, some of the things that I think we've kind of already gone over, a couple of those things. You know, we just talked a little bit about maybe doing some tips and tricks for lady anglers. And, you know, one of those is learning a lot about your gear and what you need to have and why you need to have it to be catfishing. And not just because it looks pretty or because somebody said it was great, but this is a lot of trial and error and trying out different rods and trying out different reels, different types of line, different hooks, different rigs, and finding things that really work for you in order to be successful with catfishing. Because if you don't understand how they work, you don't know how to tie them, you don't know why they do certain things or what you need to have, then you won't know why the gear ratio is important, why your drag is important, whether you like slime line versus, a braided type of line, or if there are certain hooks that seem to work better. Starting from the ground up, I learned everything on what kind of bait to use, and that maybe there's a right and wrong way to cut bait in order for it to go on your hook. And that, some of that's just simple stuff. So if you haven't been a part of it before and you're just learning, you're going to sound like the kid that asks a lot of questions. And I'm sure my husband absolutely loves that, because I still do it a lot.
Sure.
And I want to know why. Why are we using these things, and why does it get tied that way, and why do I need to do it? And it's mostly just a reason to learn so that you don't forget.
And there's a reason why everything is done the way it's done. And if you don't ask the questions, nobody will ever offer you information about that, because they assume you already know.
You're right. And
everybody does it different.
What's that, Doc?
Everybody does it different.
That's correct. And they, as I say, they have a reason why they do it that way. And you can choose what you want from the best of what everybody tells you and find out what works for you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
As long as you're bringing in a good fish and it works for you, that's what you're trying to do.
It doesn't matter if it's a rod, a reel, a hook, fishing line. If you're confident in what you're using, the confidence value of it's probably worth more than all the rest of it put together.
You bet. And I think that helps kind of build your confidence, and part of fishing the chick fight and just not being able to have any advice or anybody pointing you in the right direction is you've got to learn a lot about the waters where you are. So if you're pre-fishing and you're able to go mark fish and look for bait and know where you're going and know where you need to be, that's a big thing. And if you can't retie a rig if something breaks, or you don't have a full pack of your rig wraps ready to go on the boat, then you're going to waste a ton of time trying to retie those. But if you don't know how to do it, that's a problem.
That's right. You're 100% correct.
And that's how you learn, by asking questions.
That's
you bet.
Exactly
So
right.
Maybe that's one thing that it's easier for people with kids to say, hey, I know kids ask a lot of questions and they're constantly learning, so we're going to take the time and teach them. Absolutely. But if you have a new fisherman, regardless of age in the boat, take that time with them and teach them that too, because it's just important for them. And maybe even more frustrating. Kids are pretty quick. They're pretty resilient. And sometimes adults, it's a little bit harder with. So be more patient. Be more patient with us as we learn those things. But I would say to the girls, don't be afraid to ask those questions. Ask it from another lady angler if you see something and you don't know. I don't think anybody in this industry would not take the time if they have it to go over that with you and teach you something that maybe you'd like to learn, because that helps everybody in the long run.
That's exactly right. And, one of my favorite stories is Justin Wolf sitting down at the very first catfish conference. He was pro staff by us at the time. And Justin sat down there, and everybody was wanting to know about rigs and how we tied rigs. And Justin sat down there, and I had a 100-pack of hooks and a spool of leader line material, and he tied hooks and gave them away both days we was down there, and explained to people if they didn't understand how he was tying, he went through that. I was so proud of him, and he was perfect with people. Justin done a bang-up job, and they would come up with names of rigs, and he knew them all, and he just tied them up, and then we'd give them the rig, the hook, and everything, and that's how you help people right there.
You bet. And it's always appreciated. I mean, Angie Stover with Macy's Fishing Finds, it's my fishing partner for the chick fight from last year and will be for next year as well. And she's been doing this a lot longer than I have, and she was able to teach me some things and had great patience with that. So, I hope to look forward to learning lots more from her, and she'll be our driver next year with her boat. So I'm glad she's confident with that, and maybe someday I'll get to that level. So
absolutely, you just need to practice. That's, like I say, that's basically all there is to it.
You bet.
The catfishing Christians wants to know, what kind of hooks do you use?
We use the Hooker's Terminal Tackle.
Okay. What kind of line do you use?
Well, we use a couple different kinds, but the slime line is my favorite.
Oh, mono.
Yep. I know you guys are over here doing this.
Oh, yeah.
I love mono.
I get it. It's
I
okay.
I can never go back to mono. Can never.
Really?
No.
You like that braided?
I have no reason for there to be stretch in line when you have an action on a rod and a drag doing its job.
Really?
I see no reason to have stretch in line.
Well,
That's my opinion. You know,
maybe I'll try it your way and see if I like it better.
I'm not going to tell you you'll like it. You may not like it, but I just love my braid. I don't want any stretch in it. I probably run heavier action rods than a lot of people do, because when they get the hook, especially if I'm back bottom bouncing, I try to rip their head completely off their body. I don't care if they weigh 5 pounds or 500 pounds. I don't use a circle hook back bottom bouncing, and I want to hurt them because they're trying to take my rod away from me, and I'm not going to put up with it. You know, and that's just the way it is. But I don't want no stretch, period.
You bet. Well, I can understand that.
Now, I could use it anchored fishing if we was doing that, or maybe even some control drift stuff. But I really like my braid, and I've used this 836 2 suffix for about 3 years now, and I don't care who makes it or where they come from. There's nothing even close to suiting my style of fishing. The coating that's on that stuff lasts forever, and the tangle not nearly as much as a lot of the other stuff that I've used in the past. And I think it's, in my opinion, it's the greatest line that I've ever used. I got a 3,500 yard spool of it, and I've still got some left after 3 years. So, and I do lose some, believe me. I get tangled on a dock.
Yeah.
But I really like that suffix line. It's amazing stuff.
That's awesome.
I didn't lose no power, Glenn.
I don't think I think I got all the questions. I don't think I missed
Okay,
them.
good deal.
It was rolling pretty. It was rolling. The chat.
Oh,
was
yeah, it's been
good.
hot tonight, and we thank everybody for watching Lindsay on the show tonight. Man, it is great having you on here. You're so knowledgeable.
I don't know. I warned you ahead of time. I'm still a newbie at all this, and I'm learning, and I'm happy to learn from a lot of folks. We've met a lot of neat people in this industry in a really short period of time, and just over a couple of years, and it's been pretty amazing to be a part of it. You know, some of these places we started out as customers with different places and became acquaintances, and then became close friends, and it's been just a blast for all of us, and it's so family oriented with the tournaments that we fish and the folks that we hang out with, and we feel really blessed to be able to be a part of a lot of these tournaments and friends with a lot of these folks and get to know new people all the time.
Oh, it is, and it's just been a lot of fun tonight, and I know that you guys enjoy doing it, and it's one of the few family sports that it doesn't matter if the kids are little bitty. If you keep them busy, they'll enjoy it. When they get bigger, they'll want bigger and better and more fish, and that's just part of growing with the sport. But this is as close to an outdoor family sport for perfection that I know of.
You bet. Well, and it's hard to find anything that would be even close to being comparable with that. So, You bet. Well,
it's a lot of fun.
It is. Now, don't forget, we've got 3 other things.
Why don't we do that right now? Let's start with the small ones and work our way up.
You bet.
You told you guys in our promo, we got some stuff going on. We're going to have some pretty big giveaways, and these was all brought to us by Lindsay's sponsors and associates that she deals with. And Lindsay, I want you to take care of that, and Doc will load up his random.org, and that's how we'll give them away, but you have to be in chat to win.
How many people do we have in chat tonight?
There's like 100, I think 110 right now.
That is awesome. That's the most I've seen probably in a few weeks. So
we get more in there than we can see more in there than you can.
I'm
You bet.
reloading it right now.
So I've got, I don't actually have any sponsors, but like I said, we've become friends with some of these folks that, own these tackle shops, and they've been great and kind to us. And they actually offered this up when they found out that I was going to go on the show. So I'm excited for that and extremely thankful for these folks that wanted to give that out. So the first one, Andy and Sherry Chrisman with the Bait Shop here out of St. Joe. Again, they are just outside of St. Joe on North 169 Highway. They can ship. You can come in, check out what they've got. And again, if you're coming up for the Catfish Chasers Randy Reed Classic, they're going to have all kinds of bait in there too. They wanted to give out a $50 gift card to their store. So that's the first one that we've got.
$50 start.
So we'll do that. And the winner is Brian Wagner. Wagoner. Brian Wagner. You are the first winner.
Dieter, you're a funny man. Lindsay, tell these folks how they can get a hold of these folks to collect on this gift card.
You bet. So if you would, they can message me on Facebook, or they can go to the Facebook page for The Bait Shop. And again, that's a St. Joseph, Missouri. And tell me again the gentleman's name that won.
Brian Wagner.
Brian Wagner. Okay. I'm going to give his information to the Chrismans so that they know he's going to be contacting them. And they will get you set up, sir.
Congratulations. That's a great prize. And Catfish Weekly would like to thank those folks for doing this. We get a lot of people that come on the show, and some of them have stuff that they want to give away from sponsors or known associates and stuff. And it means a lot to us that they put their faith in us, that they'll have enough watchers that will actually justify them doing that.
Yeah.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. What's next?
Okay. So the second one is from Macy's Fish and Finds. And for those of you that don't know them, they are out of Chula, Missouri. And they do a lot of sponsorships for some of the tournaments with the All-American Catfish Tournaments group. They set up shop. They've got tons of bait and tackle out there, and they are just super good-hearted folks. That's actually a female-owned store for any of the ladies that are watching. Angie Stover is the owner of that store, and Macy is her daughter and our other fishing partner. And they wanted to do a $50 gift card.
Now, Lindsay?
Yes?
All the ladies that are watching the show tonight and those that will be watching it after the show is over that couldn't get off work or just missed it, will be watching it on YouTube for months and months. The key to what you just said is that's a ladies' own fishing store.
Yes, it is.
Owned by mother and daughter. Now, they have a husband and a brother, and I have my understanding, and they do a lot of stuff for the sport. But if you want to spend your money with a fisherman that is a lady that you can relate with or ask questions to and get honest answers, Macy's Fish and Find might be just the spot that you need to contact.
That's it.
And the winner is Palmetto Cats. Palmetto Cats. PALMETTOCATS.
Awesome. Congratulations to those guys.
Now, when you contact Macy's Fish and Find or Lindsay's, be sure to tell them you are Palmetto's Cats, and also they will need your correct name and so on, shipping address and stuff like that, or if you just contact the store directly, I don't know how they'll work that out, but just redeem it right there at their fishing store, and you get a lot of great products.
All right. Are you ready for the last one?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So Macy's also donated a $100 gift card to their store.
That's awesome.
You bet.
Okay.
So,
you ready for the winner?
I'm ready.
It's Chris Workman.
Chris Workman.
Awesome.
Oh, buddy Chris. Chris has a wife that drove all the way from Indiana with him and his dad a few years ago and fished the Jack and Jill tournament that we had up on the Mississippi River. Tore up their boat. We rescued them off of the bank of the Illinois side of the Mississippi River. It was a terrible day for them, but he is a dear friend of mine. Cubs fan or not, he's one of the best people that I know. I think the world of him. He showed up to the Catfish conference a couple of years ago. I didn't know he was coming, and he kind of tore me up when he walked through the door because I wasn't expecting him. His dad and I was great friends, and Chris is a super nice guy, so well-deserved for that. But Chris, buddy, you need to let your wife pick out the stuff for that gift certificate. She is a female. That's a female-run store. That's only the fair thing to do, and you got plenty of stuff to fish with.
There you go. Maybe he can at least split it with her, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great guy. If you ever meet him, you'll love him. He's just super. Cubs fan or not.
Aren't you a Cardinals fan?
I am. I am hardcore. And Benji brought that up.
Oh, don't go even.
We had DirecTV for a long time, and every month they try to raise the price on you. So we went back to Dish, and Dish does not have. They won't pay Disney what they want for putting on Fox Sport Midwest, and I've missed 3 Cardinals games in a row.
Oh boy!
I am not a happy camper. If I could find anybody else that's got it on there, I would probably tell Dish where they could put their service, because that's one of the main reasons that I have a TV is to watch the St. Louis Cardinals, and I've missed 3 of them. And you know, you'd be surprised how hard it is to find a radio around your house. They've taken them off the internet and off of like Sirius TV. You know, they got all them channels. I can't even listen to them.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just about to explode over that. I really am. I'm looking into YouTube TV to see if they handle Fox Sports Midwest, and if they do, me and Dish is going to have a serious come to Jesus meeting.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
We got rid of ours too, but not for that reason. It just agreed. So maybe they'll be nice enough to work out a deal so you can watch your baseball and be happy.
I seen online today, Carl Wells, that DirecTV has dropped the CBS affiliate in their area, and he's all bent about that. So it's not. I guess it's not just me, but I'm not I got to tell you, Justin, I do like the Reds. I do not like the Cubs, but I do like the Reds. And I like Atlanta Braves too, but I would go to watch a Cubs game at Wrigley Field with Chris Workman. That's how important that guy is to me. So you can take that at face value.
Well, that's pretty exciting. Well, congratulations to everybody that won. Thanks for being on and being a part of that with us. That was fun to be able to get those away. Everybody likes free stuff, especially when it comes to fun things for fishing, and whether it's bait or gear or rods.
Right.
I hope you guys get something awesome out of that. And thank you to the bait shop and to Macy's Fish and Finds. We appreciate you guys so much.
We appreciate it a lot that they would come on here. But Lindsay, I got to tell you, you've been one of the greatest guests that we've had. You're well-spoken. You're well-versed. You've done your research. You knew what you was going to talk about, and it was a pleasure to have you on here. But I gotta say something. You know, you come up with this idea, and you and any of the other women that have ideas or a particular lady that you'd like to see us interview on our show, send us a message either on Facebook at Catfish Weekly, just the Catfish Weekly page. You can message us through that, or you can email us at catfishweeklytv@gmail.com, and we will try to make that happen. If some of you ladies think that you would like to be a guest on Catfish Weekly, send us a message. If you have a particular lady that you would like to see as a guest, send us a message. It's kind of like the youth. There's not near as many ladies and kids as there are guys. That's just a fact. But everybody don't want to do it. But if it's something that you feel that you would like to do, or you know somebody that you feel should be on there as a guest, we would love to visit with them and try to get it hooked up. Everybody doesn't have the internet connection for it, Lindsay has great internet service. Everybody doesn't have that, but we would love to keep doing this because I had a Doc. It was a ball having her on here tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, you said you were nervous. You weren't nervous at all, boy. You just took and ran with it.
And one of the things,
easy to do.
we send this message out, and I don't think I brought this up yet, but Lindsay had sent me the message with all the stuff on it. She said, please be nice to me. I've never done this before. But she's just like she was an old hand at it, Doc.
Yeah, she did a great job. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you guys for having me, and like I said, taking one for the ladies team and being on here first. That's much appreciated, and we're glad to do it. We're glad to help promote women and families and kids and everything in this industry. This has just been a blast for us to be a part of, and hope to continue to do for many years to come. And I just would say I'm new and I don't know a lot of this stuff, but I'm still learning. And any lady that's out there that, has questions, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to get involved. And if you need help with that, reach out to anybody and we'll be able to help you as much as we possibly can. So,
you don't mind if I read the note that you typed in on the page, that the letter that I sent you to fill out for being a guest?
Sure.
We have a sheet, and this is what half of it looks like. When we have people on our show, that way we can find out what their interests are, about what they would like to visit with us about, and different things, and a description of themselves. So we got an idea where to go with different parts of the show. Sometimes we stick to it really close. Other times we don't stick to it at all. But Lindsay had wrote in here that she is the wife of a hardworking man, a lady boss, and the mama of a tiny angler. She loves her family, fishing, coffee, and cows. Her life is filled with beautiful memories of someone always eating food off her plate, trying to be prepared for snacks accidents on the boat and mounds of laundry. And she has learned that more about living from her husband, who is the teacher and driver of all things, and our son, who has taught her more lessons on love, happiness, than one could ever imagine. Her motto is, give a woman a fish and she'll eat for a day. Teach a woman to fish and get the heck out of the way. Lindsay, thank you so much. That was awesome. You were, like I say, you was a great guest on the show. We appreciate it so much. And this has absolutely been great having you on here. I think we should do this again at some point. You get that big fish you're looking for, or the flathead, you let me know.
Absolutely. And, I appreciate that very much. The funny thing is, one of the things you said was, do you have any more pictures? And I had a hard time finding pictures, Lyle. I really did.
One of the things when we do these shows, people don't understand. Everybody has a phone. Everybody takes their phone and takes pictures. They take them vertical. They got to be horizontal, or they get stretched out so far that it distorts the image. So when you guys are taking pictures, turn them sideways and take the pictures that way. It's so much easier for editing.
That's right. And, one of the things I thought of was, those were literally the only pictures that I have of myself with fishing or with my son or family. And so I thought, one day all our kids are going to have is just pictures of us. And
that's right.
You want to make sure that you're in them. And I think people forget that. So for all you gals out there, no matter what your hair looks like, whether or not you have makeup on, if you're slimed from Catfish, these kids aren't going to care anything about that.
Nope.
They just want to see you. So
that's exactly right.
Grandpas, grandmas, all of you, don't forget that. Make sure that you take the pictures.
Doc, what's your granddaughter call that?
Making them memories.
That's right.
Making memories. That's right.
It's awesome. Lindsay, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being
on.
Right.
You bet. Say bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Doc, what a great guest she was on to have on the show. I really enjoyed Lindsay, and I know that you did. But we still got to have Doc's tip of the week.
I don't know if I've done this one before. I probably have, but these are those night eyes, wire ties, rubber coated wire. They'll last about a year, and then they start breaking. Now, I kind of overuse these things. I use these things for everything. I use them to tie coolers down to the boat, the handles on the coolers. I use them, the covers that are on your Lowrance, your Humminbird Garmin. Man, they make these wrap right around there. And, you know, if some of the lakes that I fish are really close and I don't want to take my electronics off, so I just wrap one of these things around there and that lid won't come off. You can just use these things for everything. I know I gave a guy, he always hydraulic line for his brakes popped loose and he didn't have a way to do it. And I gave him one of these. I mean, they're not that expensive. And he just wrapped it around there and, you know, said, but that's Doc's tip for the night. These Night Eyes wire ties.
That's an awesome tip. I remember something, you had something on them about them a while back, but
yeah, a long time ago.
A long time ago. They're a great product, and I know that you use them religiously, so a great deal. For those that are wondering, Landon Huggins will be our youth spotlight of the month next week on Catfish Weekly. Landon is such a great young man. Jason has done a wonderful job taking him fishing. He's an outstanding fisherman. Doc, there is about, I don't know, 8 or 10, 12 of these young boys that are between 10 and 15 years old that I would as soon have in the boat as probably 90% of the men I know. They're extremely knowledgeable. They catch a ton of fish, and they would make great fishing partners. And that's one of the reasons. And we've got some little girls that I'm working trying to get on the show with us, because I got to tell you, though, getting little 10, 12, 15-year-old girls is kind of hard to do. There's not that many of them, and some of them just don't want to do it. Others do. We had, when we was down at Monsters on the Ohio last year, we had K-Bug Clark on there. She was a hoot.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed K-Bug. She was a great young lady to do a show with, but there's a lot of them doesn't want to do it. So
the girl that got up on stage with Aaron Wheatley at the Monsters.
She's a classic.
Oh man, that
she
girl
could be a YouTube star.
Yeah,
she was awesome. Aaron is great with kids, and that worked out really, really wonderful. So it was really good. We want to thank everybody for all the thumbs up and watching the show tonight. We had a great guest, and we really appreciate you guys doing it. Please share this video so other women and people that want to see it can watch it. It was that good, in my opinion.
Yep, real good. Palomar Cats. It's Lindsay Knight.
K-N-I-G-H-T. Yep. Very special lady. Thanks, folks, for watching Catfish Weekly. Everything goes right. We'll be back next Monday night with another episode. And don't forget, Landon Huggins. You're going to like this young man. He's an outstanding fisherman, polite, courteous, really nice young man. We're going to have a ball with Landon. For Doc Lang, I'm Lyle Stokes. Thanks for watching Catfish Weekly.